And my thing is, we don't hate talking to robots. We hate talking to robots that don't do their job well. Like, you don't get angry at your Siri or your Alexa unless it's not doing what you wanted. Then you get frustrated with it, and then you begin to associate, like, I don't want to talk to the Siri, or I don't want to deal with AI when I try to call my bank because I know it's going to be a headache and pulling out my hair. But the things that we're having now, when people realize it's an AI, they're just like, whoa, that's incredible, rather than angry about it because it's actually doing its job well.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm super excited to be here with Andrew, co-founder at Zappychat. We're going to be talking all things speed to lead, AI, conversational bots today, and the future of AI as well. So there's definitely a lot to dive into here. Thanks, Andrew, for coming on.
Happy to be here, Keaton. Thanks for having me.
So there's a lot of things I want to discuss today. First one is the background of Zappychat. I didn't realize you guys had been at this game for like 2.5 years. And just recently, with the advent of OpenAI, things have become very accelerated. But I'm interested in knowing, how did Zappychat start? I think Matt Deseno is your other co-founder, right? So how did you guys get linked up? And what did the first 2 years of Zappychat look like?
So Matt had figured out a way to use Google Dialogflow, an older version of like conversational AI, to connect into HighLevel and be able to conversationally book into appointments. That way you could have a conversation to book rather than just send a calendar link. And Matt added that just kind of as an HLProTools side product called Zappychat that at the very beginning you could get for a $500 lifetime deal. And so that was all it was. I think it was probably making 4 to 6 sales a month, just a couple grand on the side. But Matt realized that it solved a problem that was super sticky and super valuable. And so he was interested in building it beyond that to something more, but he didn't have the bandwidth to put into that because of his focus at the time on HLProTools and whatever other ventures he might have been working on. I don't even know. But yeah, so that's kind of how it initially started. I was friends with Matt back in college, and I was just getting out of another super stressful startup job. It was a VC-backed hydroponics company that grew leafy greens and herbs for hotels and corporate cafeterias. And I was the head of finance there. And so I came out of that and took about 2 months. I took 6 weeks, 6 weeks that I declared my sabbatical where I wasn't going to look for a job. And then at the end of those 6 weeks, I reached out to a few friends, including Matt, because I knew Matt was having some level of success doing something business. I had no idea what things like HighLevel were, or affiliate marketing or marketing automations. I was completely unaware of any of that. And essentially, Matt at that time was like, we can really attack this speed to lead thing. I just need someone who I can trust to dive in and to run it and to start building it. And so that's where I came in. And so that was the beginning of 2021. And so it's been over 2.5 years now, really striking at the speed to lead problem, meaning how fast businesses can respond to their leads to make sure that they actually capitalize on the initiative that the lead showed by reaching out and actually get them into booked appointments, sales, or answering questions, whatever the use case is, but just making sure that everyone gets a response immediately.
I see. What was your initial reaction when Matt told you what HighLevel was?
It was Scooby-Doo noise. It was, I didn't comprehend it. I'm also a very tactile learner, or very much a learn by doing.
Uh-huh.
And so he described it to me and I was still like, I don't understand, if you are ABC agency, I still don't understand what HighLevel's relationship is to ABC agency, let alone the clients of ABC agency. It just didn't fit for me. Once I got into triggers and campaigns and began to understand how I could build automations, that's what really got me going and got me honestly stoked to be in the space, because that sort of logical puzzle pieces, those are my jam. Like spreadsheets, automations, triggers, and now AI. Those are the things that get me going, and the things that I can lose myself in and spend 10 hours just cranking on something and lose track of time.
All right. Spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Just making sure I heard
Love
that
them.
right.
Yes. Believe
Love
it
it.
or not, I love spread. Literally last night, I grabbed a drink with a friend. Oh, I was talking about a spreadsheet I made to keep track of recipes that I had cooked, and talked about a couple of different features I had built into it. And she literally said, "You always win the award for the most fun spreadsheets." And I felt all warm and fuzzy inside. So,
Love it.
yeah, spreadsheets are my jam. But now
Love it.
workflows are my jam as well.
It actually like instills a lot of confidence, signing up for Zappychat, knowing that the co-founder is that into spreadsheets and all that type of thing. Like it feels like the right fit. Feels like you guys are going to be working on the right stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
And so like I do hour-long support calls every weekday. And so
mhm.
right before this podcast, actually, I was on one. And like sometimes, it's just troubleshooting. It's, hey, you had a typo here. You pasted in the wrong thing and the wrong value. And like that's not super fun. But we had one today where it was kind of a logic timing issue with the workflows. And we just like nerded out on workflows for 15, 20 minutes and got to solve this guy's problem by creating paths and adding tags and geeking out a little bit. So
Love it.
it's a fun time.
Love it. Okay. So for those that don't know, what is Zappychat, you know, 2.0 or whatever you've built now? I don't know what version you're on today. If I sign up for it, what's the value proposition?
For sure. The value proposition is a conversational AI that you can plug into your agency and your clients' accounts in HighLevel to have conversations that will qualify leads, book them into appointments, answer FAQs, run your database reactivation, follow up with leads, chat with them after a missed call, text back. Just literally any place that you are having a conversation with a lead, the AI can handle that for you and can automate the conversation process.
Is it primarily like sales and book a call workflows? Or I know you mentioned this, but I want to just get clear.
Yeah.
Are there like pillars of what the AI can do? Or is it mainly just that sales and booking side of things?
Yeah. The way that I view it is that on the sales and booking, there's kind of the qualification, which not every business has to do. Like you don't have to add in a qualification flow, but in some industries, some niches, it makes a ton of sense to have a bit of a conversation to understand where the contact is at and understand if they're qualified to even get on a call with someone. So there's that piece, which the AI can do. So actually ask a question of, say, someone's looking to buy a home. And so have the AI ask, great, what neighborhood were you interested in? What's your budget? What sort of timeline are you looking at? How large of a house are you anticipate? Like how many bedrooms and bathrooms? And the AI can actually gather that information and log it into custom fields and add tags so you can trigger off automations based on that. But then after that, moving in past qualification, the next stage is booking. And so actually having a booking conversation, a back and forth about like, hey, does Tuesday at 4 work? No. Okay, how about Wednesday at noon? And then book them into the HighLevel calendar. And so those are the two big like front end ones. But then on the back end, you can have FAQs where it can help with sort of support and helping to direct people in the right direction. And you can also use it to create more of a like what I've seen some people do is create some client check-ins, some automated client check-ins where the AI is actually going to interact, have just a short check-in conversation with someone. And then if they're having issues, adding a tag to alert a human to jump in and potentially like call the client and try to repair the issues. But if they're just like, hey, everything's great, the AI can handle that on its own and just be like, awesome, thrilled you're enjoying our service. Don't forget, we've got this coaching call next week, or don't forget that we're running a reactivation for you next month. Whatever sort of reminders and check ins that you might want to run with clients as well.
In that specific scenario where it said, don't forget, we're doing this for you next month, how does the AI know that you're doing that next month for that person?
Yeah, so you would need to set that up in a workflow. Uh, and so in a workflow, you would simply give it that sort of context and that sort of prompt. And, in that specific situation, I would imagine a client where maybe you run a reactivation for them every 3 months, where every 3 months you run a new reactivation from the new leads they got, or
I see.
even the ones that have gone cold. And so that way you set up your AI to check in on the 10th of the month, but you always run your reactivations around the 15th and the 20th. So that way you just kind of program it to say, hey, check in with the lead. let them know, like if they say everything's going well, let them know about the reactivation happening next week and remind them to come up with 3 ideas for their socials for Christmas, whatever holiday it might be around.
Okay, so FAQs, qualification, and booking are maybe the three main things. Why can't I just sign up for High Level's booking bot and have them do the same thing?
That's a big question that we get all the time, and is a little bit of the elephant in the room anytime we're talking about Zappychat AI. So you totally can go with High Levels AI. It has some limitations to it, and a lot of features that Zappychat has High Levels AI just can't do and is really limited on. And I can get into those a little more in detail if you want me to, but another
Yes.
big piece here is the pricing, because High Level is charging you currently, it used to be 5 cents per message. Now they're charging 2 cents per message. So they've discounted themselves by about 60%. But compared to actually using OpenAI and compared to the actual usage there, you're talking about around a 10x markup on the cost. So High Level is charging you an upcharge that you either have to eat that cost or pass it on to your clients. That's a huge issue at scale where just the pricing becomes an issue there. We let you use your OpenAI API key or your clients so that you're just getting the OpenAI usage at cost.
Okay.
And we'll talk about this a little bit later, maybe, but I have a way that your audience can actually get their entire OpenAI fees covered by Zappychat because of a partnership we have with OpenAI where we can cover all of your usage. That way, it's zero marginal cost on using a conversational AI.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm excited to hear about that. Pricing is the first big one. As far as functionality goes, what can I do inside of Zappychat? How much more sophisticated is the bot than High Level's bot?
We have a 2.5 year head start on High Level. And obviously they have a huge development team and they're working really hard to add improvements and to take what might be a skateboard or a scooter and move it on to the bike and motorcycle phase, to use their common analogy. But there's still a lot of limitations to it. And so things like, if you want the AI to book onto multiple different calendars for different situations, say you have a discovery calendar versus a consultation calendar, or say you have a follow-up calendar, a check-in calendar later on, or a specific free calendar for your database reactivation. uh, High Level, you currently have to set it to a single calendar on that side.
Okay.
And then also with that, High Level only allows you to have that sort of qualification and booking or FAQs. It doesn't allow you to kind of set up custom objectives, custom directions that you want the conversation to go to. So if you want to run a conversation to a sales page or a landing page, or if you want to just have a conversation about specific pain points where the objective is just to drive that conversation and just to discover more about the lead, it doesn't have the customizability and kind of granular ability to update those prompts and give it different objectives for different stages. And so it's kind of more uniform across the whole sub account, rather than the whole sub account, the whole location, rather than being able to customize. And with ours, you can customize it literally on the per contact basis so that it can dynamically use a contact's information or whatever, like different pipelines, different tags. You can trigger different versions of the AI from that to give you
Uh,
a ton of control within it. And then, and I know I'm rambling on here, but sorry, there's just a lot where our AI can actually read the conversation and based on that, add tags to customer
mm,
to leads, or update their fields, or trigger a webhook. So once more, you can branch off into so many more automations based on the conversation. And then other small things like you can have unlimited FAQs with Zappychat. I think that the prompt with High Level, at least it used to be limited to 2,000 characters, and then the FAQs had there's some sort of limit on it. I should revisit it and learn those numbers again. But we have a lot more application that you can do with Zappychat, a lot more functionality that already exists. Not to mention that since we've been working on this problem for 2.5 years, and specifically with AI booking, we've really honed in how to feed times and uh, feed times and calendars over to the AI and get it to book really
I see.
effectively.
But before we get started, our sponsor, HighLevel, has very kindly sponsored this episode, so let's talk about them for a minute. If you don't know already, HighLevel is the top sales and marketing solution for any business, but particularly agency owners or anybody that needs a software product to resell to their existing customer base. It has everything you need to capture, nurture, and close leads for marketing clients. And the best part is HighLevel believes in not taxing the agencies on its platform, so you can get unlimited clients for one low flat monthly fee. The best features include a CRM, funnel, website and email builders, course hosting platform, robust marketing automation builder, a consolidated chat stream with WhatsApp, email, SMS, Instagram DMs, and Facebook DMs, reputation management, social media posting, tracking and analytics, and so much more. And as if that wasn't enough, HighLevel is fully white labeled, meaning that you can take the platform and put your own brand on the desktop and mobile app and resell it to your industry for whatever price you want. Essentially, what HighLevel has done is brought the bar for starting a software company way lower, so normal people like you and I can help our clients with an amazingly robust software without paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in development costs. I am not kidding when I say hands down, HighLevel is my favorite software of all time. It has been integral to my success with my agency. It helped me increase my clients' results and retention, and I use it every single day for my own business. And if you sign up for HighLevel today, not only will you get a 30-day free trial, which is not available on their website, but you'll get all of the bonuses listed at itskeaton.com/mastermind, which gets you support, templates, and courses to kickstart your HighLevel journey and get those first few clients or scale to your next few clients. If you're already a HighLevel customer, you can also get all of those bonuses by upgrading to the next highest plan underneath my link. Instructions for that are also at itskeaton.com/mastermind. So what I'm hearing is you guys have taken all the functionality that's currently available and plugged that directly into HighLevel. And HighLevel is going to take a while to kind of catch up to that level of functionality. And so if we want this today, plugging in GPT-4 via Zappychat is pretty much the best option for anybody out there.
Exactly.
Okay, very cool. So for someone who is listening to this, they're like, sounds cool, it's really exciting, but what do I sell? Like, I'm an agency owner, or I'm just getting started with HighLevel, I'm trying to resell sub accounts, or I'm a SaaSpreneur with 100 plus people underneath me. How do I push this out to them? What's the real value proposition? How much can I sell this for? And what's the best way to get somebody to understand that this is valuable for them?
A lot of good questions in there. I'll see if I can knock them all out in one go. So I'm a big fan of a couple things that you'll hear taught and are really true, where it works better to sell the solution rather than sell the tool. So fixating on what problem you're solving, and also it's really great to use the tool to sell that solution. So you're actually using the product to sell the product. And so in this instance, what I would encourage anyone listening to sell is the solution to speed to lead, the solution to leads getting responses when they reach out. This is exactly why Chase has always talked about missed call text back being such a great tip of the spear to get you in the door, because it's really easy to tell clients, hey, how many calls do you miss? What do you think would happen if we communicated with everyone who you didn't pick up for? Like, do you think you'd get more business? If the answer is yes, which obviously it is, then you're missing out on business, and we have a system that can help you grab those. And so the only difference now is that we can actually take that a step farther, and it's not just a texting back the interested lead while you're at dinner. It's the AI having an entire conversation so that you can enjoy your dinner all while the lead is getting qualified, questions answered, and booked into an appointment. And so selling the solution to speed to lead, it's such a universal it's such a universal problem and a valuable solution that just selling, hey, we're going to make sure that everyone that reaches out to you gets a response immediately. And then you can even throw in the like accessibility and visibility piece, where if they don't have Google My Business chat on, if they don't have their Facebook page connected to anything or their Instagram page connected to anything. You can open up more avenues for their customers to reach them and also assure them that they're going to get responses 100% of the time.
So it's kind of like a lifestyle thing. It's like, look, you don't need to be a slave to your inbox anymore. We can set up a system of rules, FAQs, like info about your business that you hold currently in your brain and you have to give to leads, and give that to an AI that understands you, understands what your business goals are, and you can guide it in the direction you want it to go.
You got it,
Um,
man. So
okay, very cool. I'm starting to catch the vision here. I had the vision before, but I'm catching it even more.
puzzle
And
pieces coming together.
yeah, so what's the best way to demo something like this to a client? Maybe someone who's skeptical and they're like, "Yeah, I just don't think it would be able to respond as well as I could," or I'd rather just wait and make sure that every response is perfect instead of running the risk that an AI may something say something, off kilter that I don't want it to say.
Yeah, that goes back over to your earlier question in that sort of string of questions, like how to make this accessible and understandable. And our favorite way to do it is a tool that we've built that we call our self-selling AI snapshot. And the whole point of the self-selling AI snapshot is that it creates a custom demo for each individual lead for their actual business. And so what that means is that you can drive traffic, you can invite leads, invite people in your network, like business contacts that you have, to come fill out this form and test out the AI, and it will actually function as their business. So, for example, if you've got Jill, the gym owner, and you've known Jill for a little while. You've talked to her at the gym a few times when you work out, and you're like, "Hey, Jill, I've got something to help business owners, but I'm not sure how applicable it is. Would you mind testing this out for me?" That sort of approach and that sort of line, literally, I used it and closed 50% of the people I reached out to with that.
Wow, very
And by
cool.
closed, I mean they tested it out and then said, "Can I get this for my business?"
Hmm.
But I'm getting ahead of myself because with that sort of conversational approach, but we also have people successful running ads to it and getting cold leads in there. They go to a simple form. Maybe you slap a video of yourself on there explaining the form, but all they have to do is put in their contact information and their website and their business name. And it scrapes their website and creates a custom demo for them. So if
No
Jill
way.
goes in and puts in Jill's gym, all of a sudden she's going to get a text reaching out from a virtual assistant saying, in less than 2 minutes, it scrapes the website, creates this whole demo, texts her saying, "Hey, this is front desk person. Let's say this is Annie at Jill's gym. Saw you were interested in coming into the gym. Can I ask you a few questions?" As soon as Jill says yes, the AI dives in and starts asking questions based on the website. So it might ask about fitness goals. It might ask about, if Jill's gym is focused on yoga, it might ask about, like, have you done yoga before? What's your favorite type of practice? If Jill's gym is a CrossFit gym, it might say, have you done any Olympic lifting before?
Wow.
Do you have any specific goals? And so it'll actually run through a demo so that Jill, the gym owner, can sit in the shoes of her leads and see exactly how her business might use it, knowing full well that this is something that was just created instantly. And so like the child within us, the sort of wow factor and holy cow, this is cool, really comes out in getting to experience it like that. But also the parent skeptic, the logical head that is skeptical about it is they're always going to throw something at it. They're never just going to be a complacent lead and just answer every question perfectly. And so they'll throw in an objection. They'll throw in a weird off the wall answer, and the AI still handles that, still stays on task, and goes through a qualification flow, books them into an appointment, and then after that invites them to like get the AI set up for their business. And so that's our
Wow.
self-selling AI, which I think is the most tangible and incredible way to demo the AI and put people directly into the shoes of their potential customers, of their leads, and see how the AI would be used for their business.
And it's literally all just from the link to the website.
Yeah, it
That's
is
insane.
just a simple high level form, like a really simple landing page that they go in and fill that out. And in, once more, in less than 2 minutes, the AI kicks on and sends a text message, triggers that off.
Wow. It reminds me of Alex Hormozzi's value equation when at the bottom he says time to actually getting the result is such an important factor in increasing the value. Like if you had something where you could swipe your credit card and then instantly you saw all your fat melt away and you had a six pack, that would be so much more valuable than, hey, I'll teach you how to exercise and eat right, because there's no effort and sacrifice and the time delay is shrinked infinitely. And so the like it's a real, an actual example of that. It's insane.
Yeah, and another piece of his equation there is the probability of success.
Mm.
And if you have a demo running all of a sudden in 2 minutes that you are like, this is surprisingly really good. Like if you know that it only takes 2 minutes to get that, if you're selling them on, hey, we're going to do a custom build out, we're going to customize your bot and actually intentionally go in there. Like we're not going to just use the 2 minute version. Me and my team are going to deliver a custom bot for you that will perform exactly to your specifications, ask the qualifying questions that you want to ask, book into appointments. And so it's in that you get to then frame it as, hey, you got the really easy version. Now, will you trust me in saying we can execute on the harder version? Like that, that literally we put any time into it instead of just letting the robot build a robot.
Yeah.
And then you have their belief and their buy-in from that.
So what's the most you've seen someone charge for an AI chatbot on a monthly basis?
From one of our clients, he said that he is now charging people $5,000 a month or taking a $25,000 annual payment. So he's giving them like a huge annual discount based on his monthly, and he has people on both plans.
Wow.
And so that is for his system as a whole. So he also has more SaaS elements built in, like other automations. That's not like an upcharge on top of his base SaaS, but he's charging it and people are buying. And so he is stoked because he's paying us a flat monthly rate plus a tiny marginal cost, which actually we're going to start covering that for him here soon. And he is raking it in. And literally with the self-selling AI, 2 weeks ago, a guy on one of my support calls, he got on and he was like, hey man, I need you to explain to me how to customize this thing further because I just accidentally sold someone for 10K. He accidentally sold someone a 10K custom bot. And so people are pricing it, like anchoring it to the idea of what folks used to pay for a website. People used to pay easily 5 grand, 10 grand for a website if it was professionally and well done. And so anchoring it to that sort of benchmark, I see regularly, those are pie in the sky, like those are cherry picked examples. Just to be honest with you,
Yeah.
but very realistically, like $2,000 and $3,000 setup fees, totally reasonable, and lots
Mm.
of people are doing that. Like I would say in the 2 to 5K setup fee range is where folks are crushing it, and then throwing in their SaaS recurring. So maybe it's 500 a month recurring, or some lower ticket like 300 a month recurring. Um, those are sort of the pricings that I see, and some that are kind of pie in the sky, but totally possible.
Yeah. Talk about the wind being in your sails if this is what you're selling. Like, being in the newspaper business, the wind is not in your sails, but being in the AI business, like we all thought it was going to be crypto. That was going to be the big thing. And, and then AI just came out of nowhere and like completely dominated this big trend. And not to mention the fact that it can help code. So the technology accelerator on there is like insane. It's going to replace receptionists. It's going to replace all of these like lower level jobs. And it's not that hard to make money with it because all you do have to do is understand like marginally more than the average person. And you can go resell these things for thousands of dollars. So cool.
Yeah, this is purely just leveraging a new tool. And so it's not something that you have to go out and develop and something that you have to build. But just by simply leveraging it, you're taking advantage of that sort of hype. And you brought up crypto. Crypto and NFTs had a ton of hype, but the value in it was somewhat speculative and dependent on people's involvement and use of it and engagement with it. The AI is like the tech behind it is actually continually learning, and people have to keep using it for it to continue to grow and learn more and more. But as you've seen, people are using it left and right and using it in practical ways that it is providing real value. So the way that it's, yeah, the fact that it's doing actual value creation and value generation for businesses and individuals, like, point towards the fact that it's not just a fad. It's not a bubble that's going to tank. Like, I'm not encouraging you to invest in any AI platforms, but this is not investment advice, but it's definitely here to stay and around for the long haul. And so, just to go back to your wind in the sails question, right now it's such a buzzword and such a cutting edge, such a like cutting edge technology, that it still has the thrill of being new and exciting and shiny object, and it still is a tool that is super practical and super useful, but a tool that not everyone knows how to use yet. The fact that people are still unfamiliar with AI. I don't know if you have ever tried to explain AI to like your parents or your grandparents, or maybe just any other folks that aren't as technically minded. Sometimes it can feel like they are just imagining Terminator, or they're just confused how it actually applies. Like, my wife was confused as to what it was, why it was a big deal. And I had it write a Dr. Seuss style poem about a story about our daughter who, like, as a Western, was a bandit who was very slow and bad at her job. And she watched that happen and it clicked for her. And all of a sudden she got it.
Very
Silly Dr. Seuss thing. Um, but just right now, we in the marketing space, we're definitely familiar with it. We're
yeah.
pounded with all sorts of information about it. It can feel like it's already old news, but your average business owner, especially how many business owners, local businesses are owned and run by folks in their 50s and 60s, like, they are not familiar with what this does. And so it goes back to opening up a way for them to get in the wave, for them to understand and leverage it for their business, make it accessible and make it easy for them to use. And once more, the self-selling AI just like highlights how easy it is for them. Bringing them close to that and making it feel less intimidating and more tangible, I think, makes it so much easier to sell and so much easier to get people on board.
Yeah. You said people are comparing it to a website. I thought you were going to say they're comparing it to hiring another employee, because I've heard agencies pitch this way before. Hey, you don't have to pay me payroll taxes. You don't have to deal with my emotions. You don't have to worry that I'm not going to show up one day.
Yeah.
And you get to pay me less than you would pay a normal employee. And that skill gap was big to be that good of an agency where you could come in and provide a big amount of value. But nowadays, like, with a little bit of education and some tech savviness, you can come in and literally transform the profitability of someone who can't afford to hire one more bad employee that's going to tank their business. Like, this is really helping folks. The utility of AI is, it's undeniable. And yeah, again, we're on the bleeding edge of this. Like, I'm picturing, like, what's the opportunity cost of being like, no, AI is a fad. I'm going to learn about X thing that I'm thinking about. 5 years from now, the consulting fees you'll be able to demand for Fortune 500 companies that need help with implementing AI. Like, that is the future. And it's just going to go up and up. The fees are going to get, obviously, the technology is going to get more ubiquitous, but the fees and value that you'll be able to command as an AI, at the risk of sounding buzzwordy, expert, absolutely insane. So that leads me to my next question, which is, what does GPT-5 look like, 6, 7, in the speed to lead problem, as it relates to high level, as it relates to these businesses adopting it, but also in general? Like, what do you foresee in the next 2 to 3 years as this technology curve skyrockets?
I think that as OpenAI and as these conversational AIs, they continue to grow, it is going to move more and more. Obviously, like, the conversation quality, the response quality, how smart it is, all of that's going to advance and just get smarter. But that's just kind of a it's just kind of an intangible to say their answers will be better. And so some tangible things that I think are going to come. I think that the AI will be able to reference live websites and live data so that it can actually converse knowledgeably about current situations, about current news, about
Mm.
recent technology updates. Like it's going to get more and more access to the internet. Even just recently, OpenAI released a model that had knowledge of current events up through April of 2023. Previously, it had all stopped in 2021. And so they're slowly moving it closer. And that's also where you get into the concern of Skynet taking over as you give AI live information to the internet, and it can potentially learn and do other things there. But that's a different conversation, a different issue. But we'll see more and more tools that allow it to go in that direction, and even I think additionally more and more control for the end user as well. Meaning that people using OpenAI are going to have more and more control and say and be able to train more, and like with the advancements we'll be able to create specific use cases and specific personas even more so than we're able to now, so that AI conversational chatbots can operate in a specific space in a really repeatable and replicable and scalable fashion. So I think those are two big things that are already in the process and that we're moving more and more towards.
Okay. Very cool. What about calling?
The calling and the voice AI is definitely coming along and is definitely developing. The I'm sure Air AI is spending so much on advertising that I'm sure everyone has heard some of their calls. And I think that the limiting factor to the calls is the timing, which that can be something that can be overcome a little bit, where there's some understanding that sometimes phone calls aren't as instant as we want them to feel.
Mhm.
But all the calls that I have heard at least still have a little bit of a timing issue. But the advancement in that, in the voice AI and in the ability to use calling is totally going to be in the agency space as well before you know it. There's some people already doing it and using it, though it's definitely an imperfect solution.
I thought it was a clever thing that they talked about at the summit that said like, "Hey, I'm an AI. I'm calling you." And that's a good way to leverage voice AI today because it's very obvious that it's a robot, especially with the lagging. But you could say, "Hey, I'm an AI. I'm just calling because of this reason. Have you ever talked to AI before?" And it's so novel that people are gonna be like, "Oh, this is really interesting." Like they're acknowledging it up front. But it allows you to stay extremely consistent with like abandoned cart leads or anything else that you need to do consistent follow up. Robots excel a lot more. Again, they don't have emotions, and you don't have to pay them payroll taxes.
Yeah,
Uh, so excellent, I think, direction that that's heading in. Have you? Speaking of Air AI, I've seen like some of the ads. I've been like, this is terrible. Like, what? This is not good at all. And
yeah.
some of them I've been like, dang, that's actually decent. And then I've heard it's like 30 grand to get started with them. But then other places I've heard that you can get started for just a few dollars. What's the deal there? Do you know?
I had one confusing conversation with someone with them that left me scratching my head, and I am, I'm not exactly sure what they're
Okay.
getting at, what their model is. Uh, I kind of threw up my hands. Was like, okay, was interested to see if there was something here, but it's just not going to happen right now. Maybe in the future. So yeah, I'm similarly
I
confused
see.
by their business model
Yeah,
and pricing.
because the other thing was I think at last year's high level summit, they showed a video of Google's like supposed AI that they had in development, and it was amazing. It was like scheduling a hair appointment, if I remember correctly, and it was saying like, let me check my schedule. Okay, it looks like yeah, we have 2:30 available on this day, and it was like you could not distinguish that that was not a human, and then it's just like I haven't heard anything about that since, and the only real things on the market are like iffy at best. Do you know anything about Google's side of that?
I don't know anything specifically about their voice AI there, but I am always wary of I'm always wary of anyone's lead over Google. OpenAI and ChatGPT have definitely taken the AI space by storm and definitely have the early movers advantage on that side. But just Google, we don't have to talk about how powerful or how large or how
Talkative.
extensive they are. Yeah. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they continue if they roll out something that more directly competes, or potentially like if they do go the voice route, uh, somewhat subverts what's happening with GPT and goes full on into we have all these voice assistants, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of like legal and compliance issues I feel like that are going to become a big deal in the future. Like you have to disclose that this is a robot, even if it sounds exactly like a human.
For
So
sure. For
enjoy
sure.
the Wild West while it lasts.
Yeah, exactly. And like
um,
tied up in that is people often are like, well, what happens when they realize it's a robot? Then aren't they going to be upset and hang up or be upset and stop texting? And my thing is, we don't hate talking to robots. We hate talking to robots that don't do their job well. We
yeah,
hate robots that don't work. Like, you don't get angry at your Siri or your Alexa unless it's not doing what you wanted. Then you get frustrated with it, and then you begin to associate like, oh, I don't want to talk to the Siri, or I don't want to deal with the AI when I try to call my bank because I know it's going to be a headache and pulling out my hair. But the things that we're having now, when people realize it's an AI, they're just like, whoa, that's incredible, rather than angry about it,
yeah.
because it's actually doing its job well.
All right. So beyond the typical just selling AI chatbots to businesses, what is one of the most creative applications you've seen of using Zappychat that your users have come up with?
I would say that one of the most creative applications that we've seen is using Zappychat AI to trigger conversations based on AI generated prompts. And so there's a buddy of mine, Javi Velasquez, who runs Formwise, and they are using forms to create AI generated outputs. So they can string together multiple forms and databases, like knowledge bases, to have something like a lead magnet, say a a lead magnet like a workout planner. So someone answers a few questions and it spits out a workout plan for them and a diet plan and a grocery list. Like all of those things automatically spit out. So it's a lead magnet for gyms. And what he's starting to do is take those outputs, use that to clue in Zappychat and give Zappychat a directive to discuss with the lead the workout plan that was generated by the Formwise form. So it's an AI backed form that then sparks an AI backed conversation to reach out and proactively discuss the results of what they just put in. Which, if you think about it, they've filled
Mhm.
out the lead gen, they've given you valuable information about their situation and about what they're looking for. And so then you can tee up the AI to have a conversation about those points, emphasize how the business solves those things, and then book them in for something like a free class or a meet your coach session. And so I think that that's a really awesome creative application that is being used more and more, and is going to take a lot of agencies who adopt it early and make moves on it. It's going to be just easy peasy sales on those sorts of things.
Yeah. Personalization at scale is super powerful.
Exactly.
Um, okay, going back, I remembered a question that I've wanted to ask somebody who knows about AI. Is it true that Elon Musk created OpenAI to make sure that Larry Page and Sergey Brin didn't take over the world with an army of AI bots at Google?
I can neither confirm nor deny. I have no idea. I have no
Okay.
idea at all.
No, this is what I heard is Elon was like had a conversation with Larry Page in like 28 or, uh in like 2008, I want to say, or like early 2010s,
Uh-huh.
and they were like he was like seriously concerned that Larry Page was going to create like an army of AI chatbots that was going to take over the world, and he wasn't thinking about the ethics and everything. And so he was like, we need to start OpenAI, and that's why he started OpenAI. And like now, nobody knew about them until ChatGPT, but like he had the foresight to do that, a decade in advance. And now, it's good that it's scary to think about Google being the one with the best AI and pretty much the only one. Like nobody else can compete with them. So I'm glad where we're at now. But yeah, do you have any other thoughts on that situation? Like, is there any? How
Yeah, I
can how
think.
can we personally protect ourselves from Skynet or whatever it is?
Woof. Well,
Heavy
unplug
hitting
everything,
questions
go
here.
go live in the woods, go full Amish, and then wait for the apocalypse. No, uh, like back to your point, I think that competition is always good, both in terms of improving the product and also just ethically and keeping monopolies out of control.
Yeah.
And so, whether that story is true or is not, like you said, I'm glad that it is a separate company from Google and that we have some competition in the mix here. But yeah, we're moving towards AI being more and more powerful. We're definitely going to be moving towards more regulation in place. Just like you mentioned earlier, it's the Wild West. It's a new technology, just like the internet, kind of anything. It used to be anything goes for so long, or even digital marketing. A lot of things used to be allowed that are no longer allowed.
Hmm.
Um, hashtag A2P this last summer. Um, but yeah, I do not have the foresight. I am not a visionary enough to understand like what the future of AI is going to look like from a macro perspective. But I still view it as it's not going to replace humans. It's going to expand our abilities. It's going to amplify our impact and the things that we're able to do. Just in the same way that having automated text messages, just that big piece that High Level is able to do, expands business owners' ability because you can do things like missed call text back or abandoned cart follow up or just lead nurture in general. You can put that on auto. And in the past, you never personally would have texted everyone that consistently or that many times. And so, in the same way, AI is just going to open up more and more things that we can do on automatic. Uh, and in the same way that a bicycle helps humans get around way more efficiently. Now AI is like an e-bike where it provides a pedal assist and gives that huge boost. And so it's not going to teleport me across town, but it is going to get me there in like under half the time.
Well, thanks so much for your time. This has been super insightful. Let's hear a final recap. What's the offer that people can get specifically if they watch this video from Zappychat?
Yeah, we teased it out a little bit in the beginning and then forgot about it. But the offer that I have for you guys is a discounted annual deal that will include for free the self-selling AI snapshot
Oh, great.
and cover 100% of your OpenAI usage through Zappychat.
Dang.
So that means zero usage cost on the AI. All you have to pay is the annual flat rate to Zappychat, meaning that no matter how many sub accounts you use it on, no matter how many times you resell it, no matter how many messages you send through it, there's no additional cost to you.
Wow. Okay. And that's just if they click the link below and sign up for the annual plan.
You got it. So you got to click the
Beautiful.
link below and sign up for the annual plan. You can still sign up for the monthly if you want to go that direction, but you'll be hit with an upsell for the self-selling AI, and then you will have to pay your own OpenAI usage costs. So to get those bonuses, grab that annual rate, and I guarantee you that you will not regret that investment.
Okay. And does that go just for the agency plan or for the single sub account annual plan as well?
We only have one annual plan. Yeah, at that annual plan rate, um, it is a little bit more than 12 months of the single sub account plan. And so but once more, if you're planning on using the self selling AI, then you are planning to sell this and you're going to need more than one sub account.
Great.
So
Yeah.
you should go with the
Great
annual
point.
plan there.
Anybody that's listening to this that wants to learn more about the self-selling AI snapshot, etc., I'll put a link below this as well. Andrew, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to Andrew through Zappychat, or you can hit him up on socials, and I'm sure he'll answer your questions. And we will see you next time.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks,
man.
Keaton.